folks, and although we're into February, Happy New Year. January was a bit of a washout for me really. I didn't do much gardening. In fact, the only thing I've done is install the Chinese diesel heater. You might be able to hear it roaring away now. It's lovely and toasty there. And I think I've uploaded the video already. If I have, pop and have a look at it. It might be of interest to you. But on the gardening scene now, the first job that I want to do is to pot on these long overdue onions. These have been sown 3rd of November, so they're in dire need of potting on. So I'm going to get the potting station set up and crack on. I've got the potting mix sorted. What I'm using is this Bathgates. It's peat reduced multi-purpose compost. And I had a bit of an accident just fetching it up to the greenhouse. I caught the bag on the edge of a slab and it split. Luckily I'd got a couple of 30-litre containers to pop the compost in. I've rescued most of it. Anyway, I put a lump of it in here. I've added a bit of charge and also vermiculite. I'm just going to mix that up and we'll start potting the onions up. That's the first few lots of onions potted up, and I've still got these more to do. All these are the Vento variety, and so I've got tough ball. As you can see, these are the original ones that I did sow, and them a bit leggy. So what I might do is actually give them a little bit of a haircut, chop them down maybe half size, and let them pick up that way. So that's a few onions there I've just potted on, and I've done a few more. If you look around here, as you can see, I've been quite busy. This is a mixture of tough ball and Vento. There's about 50 of each, and I've just popped these into the Vitopod. There's no heat on at all. I'm actually just put in there for convenience, and if need be I can pop the lid on, because I have been using the overnight heater. While we're on the subject of the Vitopod, but a subscriber contacted me regarding these, and these are supplied by a company called Greenhouse Sensation, and the subscriber was trying to purchase something and having trouble contacting them. So I've had a scare around the web, contacted a few other YouTubers who I know use them, and I think we're under the opinion that the company has unfortunately gone under. Now that's a tragic shame, because the dealings I've had with this company, Greenhouse Sensation, whether it's purchasing or actually with a technical query, their customer service has been second to none, and it is really a sad loss if they have gone. So that's another sign of the times, unfortunately. Just before we move away from the Vitopod, just mention this here. If you look on there's a little hole. Originally that was to put the heat sensing probe in there, but the later design probes are much bigger to go in there. So most people end up tucking them underneath the actual side support. However, I have found that you can open these up with one of these step drills. If you drill carefully, there's no problem at all. As you can see, that there's plenty big enough now to take the probe. This is the compost out the worm bin. I've actually put it through the sieve twice, and what I do is add extra sand and also vermiculite. Saying that, I do need to replenish me worm bins, because over the winter I never insulated the bins, and with all that cold weather we had, it's actually wiped my stock out. So I need to restart that again, ready for a new season. Originally, as I said, I wasn't going to plant any of the large onions, but going through the seed packet, I saw the Kelsaes, I just couldn't leave them. I probably only want maybe 8 or 10 onions out the lot, so I'm not going to be planting a lot, sowing. Just scatter these over the So this compost is me worm compost. I have had very good success with it. I've had a number of people contact me how I do it, so I might actually do a little video I harvest it out the worm bin and dry it and get it ready for seed sowing. It's been a while since Kelsea wasn't #1 on the list. Anyway, only 3 entries and we're almost into the second week of February. But that'll soon change. I'm just filling the tank up now, the heater. Last night we had a -3 overnight, and when I came in the greenhouse this morning it was around about 8.3 degrees, which I was quite happy with. All in all, the heater was on 10 hours and I think it used just over 1.1 litres, which is around about, under the price that I'm paying now, I think it's about £1.60 or something like that, which I don't think is bad for it in the greenhouse. I'm going to sow some chilies and capsicums now, and for a change I thought I'd try some of these. These are the peat-free compost discs. Now in the past, when I've used this type of thing, it was a Jiffy 7, I didn't have much success with it. Mainly the packaging didn't degrade at all, so these are marked as biodegradable, so I'm going to give them a go and see how they turn out. First of all, you need to hydrate these things, so I'm going to pop these in this tray here, and then to speed the process up a bit, I'm going to get some warm water off them in the kitchen and put that in the tank, and we'll watch them rise. I must say I was quite taken aback how quickly these expanded. The plan was to do a little time lapse once I'd added the water to show them rising, but by the time I'd set the camera up, they actually got up to size. So I'm just popping them into these 24 cell trays now. There's 50 discs in here, so there should be more than enough, and it'll allow for any errors or anything what don't germinate or something. Forgot to mention, these are from a company called Westland Horticulture, and then I got these from my local garden centre. Right, I've put the number tags now on the cell trays, and each number has got 4 plants. You may notice there's 4 of variety number 9, and that's destined to be the California Wonder, which is one of our favourites, and we do eat quite a lot of those. Apart from that, there's 9 different varieties, and there'll be at least 2 of each going into the chili wicking system, which will be in the greenhouse, the one I built last year. I'll be putting a link underneath if you've not seen how I did that. And also, any new people to the channel might wondering what these numbers are. I do give each plant at the beginning of the season a unique identifying number. I keep a record of this in a database. And the yellow tape is because I'm colourblind and have trouble distinguishing certain colours, but these actually stand out to me quite a lot. I've got a couple of videos explaining the numbering system also, and that's also linked to a seed database tracker. I'll put links to all of these below in the show notes in case you want to have a deeper look. So there they all are in the small Vitopod. The pots down the middle are the surplus seeds of each variety, so I've just put them in a little pot and you can use them as spares if I have any failures. Also in the corner is the tray of Kelsea, you saw me sow a bit earlier. Now I have put the heat on, the thermostat's on there as you can see. Got the temperature set at about 23. Now this will be the only heat I'll be using for this sowing because obviously the peppers won't germinate at a low temperature. Starting to get cool now. Before I finish this one off, I'd like to share with you another little incident that happened with the diesel heater. In particular, the fuel filler cap. Now I always fill the tank up right to the top and keep my eye on it because it's running quite a lot during the daytime when I'm in there because I like my warmth, but also at night because we're having some low temperatures. So I came in on the one morning and went to check the fuel level, and I couldn't see really what was happening because the fuel tank had gone away from the side of the metal frame. And what it is, inside the fuel cap, there's a white plastic serrated thing there. I'll put a few photographs in. So I've taken that out, and inside there's a felt type disc, which I assume is the filter. There's a little hole in the top. However, it seemed that this was blocked because obviously when this is screwed down, as the fuel dropped, it was creating a vacuum and it actually sucked the fuel tank right in. Anyway, as I undone the tank, the lid off here, I could hear it. So what I've done, I've actually disassembled this. I've taken the fuel filter felt pad out, put that back in. I've also increased the diameter of the hole now. This is probably about 2 millimeters in there. I've screwed it back on, filled the tank up, run it, and there's been no issues. So that is something to check on, make sure that this is actually a breather hole and it is working. Right, that's about it for this one. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in the next one. Until then, stay safe all. Bye for now.